Hey, welcome back to Unreal Labs. We're going to continue our series on DHCP. We're going to work today on some filter lists, the allow and deny filter list. So I'm going to get my VMs going here. In our previous video, we configured basic DHCP server, and I've got a couple other VMs on the same subnet. They are getting IPs. So I've got another Windows 2012 server here and a Windows 7 client, and they're getting leases. So their leases are working. They have, as you can see in the lease tab here, we're doing good. That's my cat Bankers. So let's just talk about the filter list. So the allow list only allows MAC addresses that are configured here. So if the MAC address isn't configured or added here, then the DHCP server won't serve out any IPs or leases. Deny is a little different. So if the deny is configured, then it'll hand out IPs as long as the MAC address isn't listed. Okay. The other caveat is if they're both enabled, then deny wins. So it would have to be in the allow list, but if there is a deny with the same MAC, then it would be a deny. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to make this a little bit easier for myself. I'm going to export this lease list so I can get a hold of these MAC addresses here. So throw that on the desktop, DHCP. And so if we open that up, this is kind of a neat little feature. It'll bring it out to like Notepad. We'll open it in Notepad, little text file. And so now we're able to like copy and paste the MAC addresses. So let's start with the allow list first. So I'm going to do this little Windows 7 box. So I'm gonna allow that one. So I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna click on the allow filter. I'm going to paste that MAC address in there, and you can also add them actually from right here. You can add them to a filter if you want to. That's a real quick way. I just wanted to show you the text file, just in case you're converting all these. But so now we have this in the allow list. So the Windows 7 machine is not in that, or the other Windows 12 box is not in the allow list. So I'm going to enable the allow list, right click, enable, and I'm going to blow. So what would happen here is we have a 1-day lease, so server 2 is actually would still work. If we just left it there, it would still work. But once it goes to renew, once the timeout happens, let's go to that Windows 12 server. Once this lease expires, as we saw right here, its IP wouldn't be renewed unless it was in that allow list. But let's clear it. IP config release. So we just pulled it out, and we're going to do a renew. I'm actually going to kill this lease out of here. And we'll renew this, and it should just sit here and spin. So it's, as you can see, it's not going to allow anything. It's not going to serve anything because it's not in the allowed list. So let's go back to server 2, and it's still thinking. So it's not going to get anything. Eventually what's going to happen is it's just going to get basically a local link address. The term is slipping my head for some reason right now. But let's do all here, and we'll see what's happened. Yeah, so right here. So it's a 169 address. So let's add that MAC now of server 2 in the allow list. And as you see, our Windows 7 box, it's if we release it and renew, it's going to keep on getting its reservation or its lease. So we'll go to 2 now. So 2 actually probably already has an IP, but yeah, it does. So it was able to then accomplish the lease. So because it's in the allow. So all right, let's blow these out. Actually, I'm gonna move. We'll move Windows 7 to the deny list. I'm going to disable the allow list, and I'm going to enable the deny list. So the only one that should be denied now is the Windows 7 box. So same thing, just a different way to accomplish it. The difference really that you need to remember, or if you do put this into play, is that the allow list, you'd have to, like every IP on your network, you'd have to have the MACs, you'd have to be able to import those MACs. So it'd be very clunky if it was like a enterprise network and you were having to add MAC address. The other caveat too is MAC spoofing. Like you could definitely spoof the MAC and you would get an IP, because you wouldn't, well, in the allow list, if it was enabled, you wouldn't. But I mean, you could sniff the network, find a MAC that's on the wire, and definitely jack the address if you wanted to too. So this isn't like 100% foolproof, but it is nice to be able to control what fairly non-hostile devices are able to get IPs. I've used this allow list quite a bit for like BYOD, so like people having like iPads or iPhones on a company network, maybe something that needs to talk to a projector or some kind of device or a conference machine or IP phone, something like that, that I want to limit that a company doesn't necessarily have full control over. The deny list I like is if I have some rogue devices, which hopefully I don't, but also if I wanted to prevent somebody that was plugging into certain things. So but we'll go back to here. So test 1, MAC's in there. Let's open the MAC address up here and do all. So we'll release it. Renew, and it should just sit and spin. So we're good to go. And maybe I'll do a video of like just spoofing that MAC so you can see how the deny list, if it didn't show up in there, that MAC, this Windows 7 test 1 machine would be able to get an IP. It's pretty easy to do. So it's still sitting and spinning. I just want to show you. Alright, so let's do one other example, which is the same thing, but let's enable both. So in our allow list, let's just delete this, and we'll start fresh. Refresh leases. Windows 7. Oh, excuse me. I need to disable this. I blocked myself. There was nobody in there. Alright, so IP is enabled. So alright, deny is in, so nothing's really being blocked. So let's go to allow, let's enable. So now both of them are enabled, but precedence happens on deny. So deny is going to override anything in the allow. So if I add both of these guys, let's add both. Add to filter allow, add to filter allow. So now they're both in allow. So they should still be able to get IPs. It's enabled. But I'm going to also add, let's do test 1, and we'll put that in deny. And here's that warning message here. So it's kind of telling you the same thing I've told you, that the deny will we'll do it. So, or actually, sorry, I need that back in there. It told me it was going to remove it from deny. So let's go back to my handy list. That's why I like to break out DHCP into a text box. Just easy to grab those max. So we'll throw that in there. I guess I'm having problems here. Well, I'll have to figure that out. But theoretically, if you had both in there, we'll just continue. If we had both in there, deny overrules both, or overrules allow. So just a heads up. So that's pretty much filter lists on DHCP. It's pretty handy. I use deny quite a bit, especially if there's some things that I don't want on there. Allow I use if I'm just really trying to tighten up a scope, and I'm using it mainly for like handing out leases with lots of reservations. I've done that quite a few times. There's always some weird case. It's never the Microsoft way most of the time. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop a comment, hit the subscribe button. Let me know if there's anything you really want to see, or you want me to correct. I'm sure I don't cover everything, but anyways, thanks again. Appreciate your time.